What's up? Chad Wright.
And Kylie Wright.
We got Kylie Wright back here. And it's Team Righteous coming at you once again on the channel. We're getting ready to show y'all a little bit here on the Vulcan. Kylie's gonna help me out. We're gonna get her to take the seat off here in just a second. But I've had a lot of people asking me since we done the dyno video with the Vulcan a few months ago. I've had 4, 5, 6 different comments or whatever asking what we set this fuel tuner at. And generally when we tune a bike or whatever, like if we tune something through a Power Commander or something like that out there, we wouldn't be giving out that information because that's something that we try to, you know, that's how we make our money, is we tune bikes and work on bikes and stuff like that out there. But this fuel tuner here is really not a whole lot to it. It's basically just turning 2 or 3 or turning 3 different switches that are in there and setting it up or whatever, and it's not like the world ender or whatever for that information to get out there. So anyways, I'm going to get Kylie to pull the seat off of here, and then we'll show y'all where we set this fuel tuner at, and I'll go over some information about it since I've had it tuned and been riding it and everything else. Push down on the seat and then turn and then pull up.
Now what do I do with the seat?
You can prop it up against right here.
Where?
Just right here. Here we go. All right, so you want to show them where the fuel tuner is, Kylie?
I don't know what that is.
The thing that you said looked like an old flip phone earlier. She bringing up old ancient memories.
Well, it just looks like it.
So there's the fuel tuner. All right, let's see here. So I'm gonna open this thing up here and lose this piece right here. So I'm gonna come back around here so I can look at it. All right, so on this fuel tuner, the first one here on the left side is maxed out. Let me take my sunglasses off so I can make sure I can see. All right, so the first one here is maxed out. Number 2 in the middle there, it is on 7, and the third one here is maxed out as well. So that'll be 10, 7, and 10. All right, so there you go. There's the numbers for everybody. I put, like I said, the first one on 10, second one on 7, third one on 10. They ended up working out the best for us on the dyno. This fuel tuner here, though, is not like your newer Power Commanders and stuff like that out there. You can't tune it by RPMs and throttle position as you go through it. It's not like tuning through the ECU like we do on the other bikes that we tune. It's just it lets you add fuel to it, and at you know, part throttle, mid throttle, and wide open throttle. And the part throttle needed a good bit of fuel, and mid throttle needed some good amount of fuel but not a whole lot, and then wide open throttle needed a lot of fuel. But it doesn't add fuel down low. It only adds fuel the higher up in the RPMs you go. So yeah, so the bike would start off rich, and then it would go lean as you went through the RPMs. And so what we were able to do was, whenever I turned the third controller on there, or the third screw on there, and turned it all to max, ended up leveling that out some. So it did start off rich, and it did get leaner as it went through the pull, but it didn't get as lean. I still didn't even get the ideal numbers that I was after, because I couldn't really control it too much. It's just, like I said, it's super primitive. It's really not the greatest tuner in the world, but if you got one, there's the information so you can use that right there. So as far as how the bike feels and how it runs and rides, since I did tune it, it runs smoother, it rides smoother. There's not as much vibration feel in the motor because it is running better and using more fuel, and it's able to, I guess, kill down the vibration. So the bike running lean when it's running in the highway, and so that there was causing the vibrations. So with that being said, I have added more fuel to it in all throttle positions, and that also led to it getting worse fuel mileage. So the bike was getting roughly, I'd say 42, 43 miles at a gallon before we made the adjustments, before we tuned it. And now that the fuel tuner is on there and being utilized, because before it was on the bike like I said in the last video, I just didn't know it was there, but it wasn't hooked up, so it wasn't doing anything. Well, now that it's hooked up and doing stuff or whatever, like I said, it's using more fuel and getting worse fuel mileage. I want to say now it gets roughly probably 37, 38 miles a gallon. And that's with riding it the same way, which is riding down the highway a lot. So the more that I ride down the highway and ride at higher speeds, it uses a lot of fuel. I rode it on January 1st on Sunday when the weather was super nice, and I filled it up. And currently I have, let me check and see how many miles I've got on this tank so far. So usually, right here lately, whenever the fuel gets to or whenever I fill it up, I always reset my mileage and see how many miles I can get or whatever before the fuel light comes on. So usually the fuel light comes on right around 142 miles or so, and right now I'm at 157 miles. So currently I'm at 157 miles, so about 15 more miles than what I normally go before the fuel light comes on, and it still hasn't even come on yet. So I'm not sure why it's getting better fuel mileage, other than when I was riding it on Sunday, I rode from here locally at the gas station here, and I rode mainly all back roads all the way to where I was going to, went and rode some twisties on the bike. I was actually going to make another YouTube video with the bike. I started the video and everything else, but I didn't have my GoPro with me, and I tried to do it with my phone, and needless to say, recording videos with your cell phone on this motorcycle here, very bad idea. Did not work out too well. So anyway, I didn't get to make that video. But the bike, like I said, runs good, runs great. And I rode out there, was riding some twisties, ran into a couple of other guys on sport bikes, and got to show some of them up. And but anyways, I rode out there, rode it hard while I was out there, but not a lot of high RPMs or not a lot of you know, high mile per hour pulls. And this thing has only got a 5th gear, as most of y'all know, so it doesn't so it needs another gear, and it gets wound out whenever you get up running down the highway, running, you know, 80 and 90 mile per hour whenever you're on the Mexican highways. So we have seemed to gotten better fuel mileage. I almost failed this there, but maybe y'all didn't see that. But it seems to get better fuel mileage this time. I'm not sure why. The only other thing I can think of is one other thing. So usually I always get gas at Shell. I got gas at Chevron this time, so maybe that's affecting the fuel mileage. Or, well, no, I've gotten gas at Chevron before since then too, so that's not it either. So honestly, the only thing I can think of is most of this riding was just on back roads, which wasn't going down the highway, so it didn't get run, you know, didn't get run as high of RPMs in 5th gear for long distance like I normally do whenever I'm riding down the highways. So that's the only thing I can think that's got it getting better fuel mileage this one time. But like I said, since I've done the tune on the bike, it's gotten worse fuel mileage, but it runs better and rides smoother, it feels like. So there's the information for you. There's the numbers. There's the power. Or y'all seen in the last video the power that it's making. It's not really that noticeable of a difference. It's not world ending there. Like, I'm not outrunning nobody in a drag race. But the bike is super fun to ride for what it is. It's a cruiser. Y'all know most of us here, we ride sport bikes, Gixxers and Hayabusas, Ninjas, ZX10s, all that stuff out there, turbo bikes, nitrous bikes. And to be riding a cruiser, it's fun to do, but it's really not my style so much. But I'm still going to take the bike and go ride twisties with it. I've had a few different cruisers. I've had a Honda Shadow 1100 as well. I went and rode twisties with it. Definitely a little bit harder to ride twisties on compared to this bike, but it was something to ride. I was just on the bike and I wanted to see what it felt like to ride it. I've even rode, or took this truck over here, not rode it, but drove it on the same road. So I just really enjoy riding in curves too. So we are mainly a drag racing focused channel to a point, and the shop especially is geared towards a lot of drag racers because that's just mainly who comes through here. It's mainly who knows us. But I feel is more other people know us that ride twisties, people that do track days come through here. We've tuned a few of those bikes as well. The more those people get to know us, the more they'll know that I'm not just a drag racing guy. I like to ride twisties and stuff too. So anyways, hope y'all enjoy this information. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about the bike, a little bit about the tune, a little bit about what's going on, give y'all the numbers on the fuel tuner. Just wanted to you know, let you know about that, let you know about the fuel mileage, that it did go down some after I tuned it. And for those of y'all that are wondering as well, this bike does have Cobra swept exhaust on it, and they have the baffles taken out of them. So there's inside of here, there's a baffle that goes up in these exhaust, and we removed those. And I really don't have information from before. I want to say that it made like 30 something horsepower and we gained like 20 horsepower, but I can't guarantee you that because I didn't test it the day that I done it. We was playing around with it on the dyno the first time as soon as we got the dyno. So I think that it gained roughly 20 horsepower by taking the things out, but I can't guarantee you that information. And I don't have no way to verify it because I threw those things in the garbage. It was not only making the bike quieter, which I didn't mind. It wasn't like annoyingly quiet, and it's not annoyingly loud now, but it was definitely definitely hindering power, and that's not what we're about here at 57 Motorsports. So anyways, I just want to let y'all know that too though. So for those out there that are tuning your bike and wanting to make the adjustments on your fuel tuner, that's where we set it at, and that's the exhaust that I have. So if you have those baffles still in there, you're not going to want to add this much fuel to it, because it's going to probably be too much fuel. I would probably aim, especially at the wide open throttle, the very last one or whatever, I'd probably put it at 7 as well. So I'd probably go wide open on, or turn it all the way up on 1, and then 7 on 2 and 7 on 3, if you have the baffle still in yours. All right, I'm babbling enough on this right here. That's all this whole video was about. Not really a whole lot going on, just a whole lot of talking, and now I'm just talking about nothing. So I'm gonna jump off of here, but we appreciate all of y'all. Have a good one.